now we have Dr. Latha Subramanian. Subramanian. Sorry, I can't really pronounce your surname well. She's a senior assistant professor at University of Madras, and she's a leading cybersecurity criminologist in India. So today we're glad to have her to talk a little bit on what is cybercrime, what was the situation of cybercrime in India, and a little bit of introduction on the law and regulation in India. So I'll pass it to you, Dr. Latha. Could you introduce yourself and tell our audience what you've been working on?
Thank you, Dr. Lennon, for this wonderful opportunity. I'm Dr. Latha. I'm from Madras University. I teach in Department of Criminology. We have an exclusive Department of Criminology in Madras University, which started in the year 1983. And we also now have a specialization called Cyber Forensics and Information Security at master's level. We have separate degree for that particular discipline. And I had been the privilege of coordinating, introducing, framing the syllabus, and teaching the students from the year 2005. So I'm sure that I'll be able to contribute sizably to this particular topic, cyber crimes in India, in the overall session, whichever you're handling. So you can actually raise any question related to that to me. Generally, I work with various organizations on, teaching about cybercrime, cyber forensics, and information security also. I have also involved in some international bodies. Like I have written a few articles also in that. So I think this knowledge will help you to know more about from me and whichever I can contribute.
Thank you, Latha. So the first question is that could you tell the audience who is participating in this section, what are the key cybercrime problems in India? I know India has been such a huge country, must be and well developed in technology. What do you think are the key cybercrime problems that that challenge India at the moment?
Yes. Before I speak about this moment and what is happening at this moment in India on cybercrime, I just want to give a brief introduction about the culture which we have in India. Unlike other Asian countries, or I can say unlike other Western countries, but similar to few Asian countries, we have a kind of tradition here where family is given important and relationships are given important. So most of the time, the crimes related to women and children are common in India in the cyberspace. And more specifically, see, for example, the cyber crimes got registered in India from the year almost, I think I can say around 2008, after the information technology law was enacted. So then there was a separate cybercrime cell, and they started enacting the particular, they enacted the law and the cybercrimes got registered. So when the cybercrimes got registered for the first time, most of the crimes which were actually registered was against, a crime against the girlfriend, a crime against the ex-wife, or the crime mostly committed by some, disgruntled employee. So these were the crimes that were got reporting in the year 2008, and almost for, I think, till 2014, that was the trend continuing. Most of the crimes reported, I quote it again, they are all the reported crimes. Doesn't mean that the corporates did not have crime or any other financial related crimes were not there. It was not so. But most of the crimes reported was such a kind. But we could find a kind of drastic change, or at least notable change in the reporting of cyber crimes. Normally, these crimes are recorded by National Crimes Record Bureau in India, and they come out with a publication called Crime in India. So recently, the NCRB, that is National Crime Records Bureau, which is actually manned by Ministry of Home Affairs India, has published this report. So we can see that there is a shift in reporting cyber crimes on various other aspects also. For example, like cyber stalking, then cyber bullying. So these are the crimes which are getting more reported now. And similarly, we can also find that there is a change in reporting in financial crimes Even corporates come out of reporting the crimes. And recently, we can see a lot of economic frauds. For example, like credit card frauds, card-related frauds, and then like e-commerce frauds. So these frauds are actually getting reported. So this is the trend of change in reporting cybercrimes in India. Previously, it was mostly on cybercrimes against person, and that too exclusively on women. And now there is a shift that you also do have cybercrimes against women reported, and at the same time, some of the financial crimes which are getting attention towards the public.
Well, that's very interesting. I think crime against women in India is definitely a very serious problem, and I think that might be the reason why the government put this as one of the important item to be recorded. And now it's great to see that the government is also trying to keep the record of different type of cybercrime. And when we're talking about all this type of cybercrime, was there?
I cannot say that the government is trying to take it up, but it is the kind of reporting among the public. You know, previously the corporates were not ready to report, as in any other country. They were not ready to report because they felt it is a kind of stigma. It's a kind of shame, or it's a kind of reputation drop for their company. So they were not ready to come and report. But now they are also ready to come and report that they can seek some remedy, especially financially. When there is a huge loss like 150 crores or 160 crores or some millions of amount, then they actually need to sort out the solution through the police. So they are trying to do that also. And credit card frauds. Previously, the usage of credit card cards were very less. But now people are into a lot of other types of cards. So they are ready to come and report when the card is lost and when money is stolen, or when we have identity theft. See, recently a private study has revealed that in the last year, especially during pandemic period, almost 67% of the crimes in India were mostly identity theft. I think this is a similar case in other countries also. Okay, so along with the changing trend in other countries, the reporting of cyber crimes in India is also actually changing.
It should touch on very good aspect. Well, in old days, when we talk about cybercrime, the victims are usually feel shamed, especially this kind of fraud or scam. But like what we've been talking to each other in the past years, we always think that this kind of things should be, this kind of stigma should be changed, and we should stop shaming the victims. Rather, we should give instead we should give give them more support and ask them to stand up. That's a very, very good point. And could you briefly outline the current laws that Indian government is applying to regulate all these kind of different types of cybercrime?
Yes. See, there are key laws. See, prior to 2008, the Indian Penal Code, you should be knowing about that. The Indian Penal Code is the Bible for all the lawmakers and judiciary that goes along with the Criminal Procedure Code. So in the Indian Penal Code, they have classified lots of crimes, like crimes against property, crimes against person, and crimes against nation. And they have defined the crime and also given the punishment. So prior to 2008, whatever cyber crimes happened were reported under Indian Penal Code. But in the year 2008, an exclusive law called Information Technology Act was actually promulgated. So after that, and the law has actually around 10 to 15 sessions of various clauses of crimes that can be punished under cybercrime. Okay, so after this, some of the crimes, I will not say that all of the crimes, but some of the crimes actually got reported under IT law also. The IT law focuses morely on pornography and then like hacking, then data theft. So these are the core areas where the IT law actually focuses. So like after the evolution of this Information Technology Act, the cyber crimes get reported both under Information Technology Act and also under Indian Penal Code. And apart from that, we also have a lot of social legislations. I'm sure that every country will be having a lot of social legislations, and we have so many states in our country. So there are some state-specific laws, and there are also some common social legislations like Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act, then like Indecent and the Sexual Harassment Prevention Act, Eve Teasing Prevention Act. So we have such social legislation existing in our country. So these crimes are also reported. For example, pornography will be reported under IT Act also, and at the same time, indecent representation of Women's Act also. So whichever will be giving the hardest punishment, severest punishment, then that particular law will be adopted, or compounded judgment will be given. So like we have multiple laws, though exclusively we have Information Technology Act as a cyber law, and also we have some provisions for intellectual properties. We have a few legislations which cover intellectual property rights. So the Indian Penal Code, the Information Technology Act, and the intellectual property rights law, and along with the social legislations like juvenile justice law, then Indecent Representation of Women Act, Sexual Harassment Prevention Act, E-Teasing Act, Bonded Labor Act. See, in the case of trafficking, you also look for bonded labor. Okay. So like, and some states have a trafficking prevention law also, for example, Goa. So like some states have, there is no common law for prevention of trafficking, but we also have some states have that. So all these crimes are reported in a compounded manner, that when a cybercrime happens, it will be a kind of combination of cyber law for this particular act. And the Information Technology Act got amended twice, depending upon the need of the time. And now more data prevention is given important. Data prevention, data privacy is given important in the law. And pornography, child pornography is become an offense here as any other country. So anybody can report child pornography, because the recent study, especially in pandemic, it is found that the most, I mean, at least the India stands third in supplying the child pornographic materials. So stricter actions are actually taken against those who are producing child pornographic materials, and also those who view child pornographic materials. So child pornography is given more importance. Though pornography as a whole is seen as a kind of offense, child pornography is given more importance. So all these aspects are covered in our cyber laws, whichever is existing. And Information Technology Act is amended every now and then. So far, it is amended thrice in our country.
Well, you did touch on the I know Personal Data Protection Act is under drafting at the moment in India, and we do hope that it can pass very soon, as it's important aspect of law, that important piece of law that every government should have. And
yeah, actually we do have a provision for data privacy in already existing Information Technology Act, but still the government wanted to come out with exclusive Data Privacy Act, because that is the need of the hour. So that is why they have drafted it. And I think no sooner they will be implementing it also, after placing it in the parliament and getting accepted. So I think that will be an exclusive act very soon.
Well, and you've mentioned that it seems that India has very comprehensive laws system. I mean, different type of laws that regulate cybercrime. Do you see any weakness that need to be implemented, or the weakness that the government need to do in order to make the law more accessible or more applicable?
There are 2-3 things which I need to observe in this manner. One thing is, already the Information Technology Act is available, and we have some more laws which are governing directly or indirectly. But what I felt is like there's a gap between the law and the implementation. It needs a lot of training among the law enforcement officials, both police and also judiciary. So that was the missing aspect so far, that they were not able to appreciate the existing provisions and book the offenders under those particular laws. But to fill this gap, now the government of India has recently come out with a lot of cybercrime cells, and they have mandated that every district should have a cybercrime cell. And they are also in the process of training the police officials. So like partially they are recruiting new policemen, and partially they are training the already existing police people on that. So that was the gap initially, but now the gap is getting tried to addressed. Another one of the gap which I found is like, though we have so many social legislations existing, nobody is able to understand that this particular crime can be booked under particular law. Okay, so what we want is like, we want to have an exclusive list of cyber crimes which can be included in Information Technology Act, that if any cybercrime happens, the police will look into only particular act, or they'll be given a guidance that these kind of acts can be looked into the other social legislations, so that like they'll be able to understand what kind of law they have to adopt to book it, because the Information Technology Act now has only very few sections. They have not addressed all the types of cyber crimes, because for example, you talk about some e-commerce fraud. E-commerce fraud comes under cheating. So what happens, like the policeman book the particular crime in under e-commerce, I mean cheating in Indian Penal Code. Okay, so there is a confusion on which law to adopt and where to put in yourself. So this kind of confusion should be cleared. So that is one aspect. And the other aspect is like appreciating the digital evidence. So I feel that there is a kind of lack in, appreciating the digital evidence. See, the world is moving towards artificial intelligence, and they are moving towards a lot of other developments. But still, we are actually in the level of CD, compact disc. So the law accepts a compact disc and pen drive and other things as evidence, but we still lack in dealing with crimes in the cloud. So what are we going to do when some cybercrime happens in the cloud? How we are going to handle that? How are you going to handle those cyber crimes where artificial intelligence are used? So there is a kind of gap in that, that is the growing technology and the existing law. So we need to actually redefine, or we need to actually redraft the law every now and then, depending upon the number of cases and the type of cases getting added. See, for example, like one of my students is trying to do a research on artificial intelligence. But when we want to find a case, it is very, very rare to find a case. And there is also a confusion, like, are you going to talk about a cyber crime where artificial intelligence is a tool or artificial intelligence is a threat? Okay, so these kind of issues should be addressed in the law. So the technology and the law has a wide gap. That gap actually should be filled so that the digital evidence can be appreciated appropriately. And one more gap which I find is like the growing number of cyber crimes is actually alarming. So this cannot be handled in the regular courts which are existing in India because of the number of cases piling up and the population of India. So what we feel is like we need to have exclusive cyber crime courts that can actually admit all these cases, because the digital evidence is volatile and it needs to be safeguarded. It is not like any other evidence. So the government should actually focus on establishing more cybercrime courts where these cases can be reported there and held there, and the punishments will be given and there, or remedy will be given then and there. Because like you cannot delay a cybercrime case for 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. These cases have to be dealt immediately. So that is one thing which I felt.
Well, it's very aligned with what we have been discussing in the past few years. Like we need more people who really know these areas in order to make a law more applicable, and the laws are never be enough in the game of chasing cyber criminals. And this links to our final question. So we know that there are a lot of quite a few of good academic scholars in India who are doing research on that, like yourself. And could you tell people, our audience, what was the research environment in cybercrime area in India, and if people want to really do some research in your country or in the region, what would be your suggestions?
The research in the area of cybercrime is actually growing exponentially. Previously, the people were not aware of cybercrimes, but now people take up research. See, we have a lot of government and private institutions. So all the government and private academic institutions do have a computer science department. We have now a lot of information security departments also, and all the researchers are now into cybercrime research. Most commonly on like crimes focusing on women or children, but there are also exclusively good researches going on technological aspects also. Like we have Indian Institute of Technology, we have Anna University, and we have exclusive departments like cyber forensics departments in our country. So they are into, a lot of technical researchers like developing tools to prevent cybercrime, or developing tools to detect cybercrime, because we need to have, we normally depend on open source tools, which are actually not good. Though there are some paid tools which are expensive to our country or to many people, like we are depending, we need to have our own tools which will help us to detect the crime. So like, for example, especially remote detection of cybercrime, like collecting evidence remotely. So we do have tools, but those are all open-ended tools. So in order to prevent the damages that can be caused because of open-ended tools like data leaking or whatever be, many departments are in the process of finding their own tools and trying to patent it. And we have good government agencies also, like NASCAM is one agency. Then we have DSCI, Data Security Council of India. So they are also doing good researches, and every now and then they are coming out with a lot of inputs to the corporates. And apart from this technical research, apart from the social sciences research, see, we are all into social sciences research and also technical researches. Okay, for example, I do a lot of researches on social media crimes. Then I also do some researches against cyber crimes against women and children exclusively. So we keep doing that. But at the same time, we also have some surveys going on in our country. So frequently, we do have surveys which focus on what are the various types of crimes happening in the corporates. So we have some private bodies, they exclusively keep conducting the surveys every year. And these surveys are so helpful to the academic researchers to make them understand what area they have to focus more on. So I can say that the research in the area of cybercrime is actually growing nowadays, and people are ready to contribute for that.
That's great. I think this is also important. Things were moving all into the digital age, and it's great to see that more and more people in India are contributing themselves into this area. And we definitely see that cybercrime is without borders. So
yeah, definitely, it's a kind of challenging area.
Yeah.
So people want to venture into it.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Latha, and I believe this will be very helpful to all our audience to understand what is happening in India. And I believe there might be some questions which I will pass to you later when this has been broadcast. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lennon, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.